when do you want to talk about things? Because there's so much about Peter's character that we just need to talk about. Should we wait till the end?
You wait your turn, young man.
Okay.
Because I need you to strap in. I put your seatbelt on because you're in for a bumpy ride. Oh. Hey everybody, welcome to the Old Boys Podcast. This is Jared, and with me, as always, is Dan. Hey buddy. What's up?
Hey, Jared.
This is a classic opening.
Classic because
episode.
there's just so much that we could have joked about to open this film with, but we decided to just go just classic, just get it out.
We were thinking because before we start the show, we usually think me and Dan are like, "Hey, how should we start the show?" And we'll think of like a silly thing from the movie or whatever. But I'm so excited to talk about this film. I'm like, no, I can't think of anything. I just want to talk about the movie. So we're gonna get into it. And that's what we do here.
It. Yeah, we always get into it.
Into movies. All right. We don't get around them. We don't get between them.
We don't
get
into them.
We get inside of them. Consensually and with respect.
I was gonna say more like, a kid get inside a cookie jar. You know what I mean?
Oh, that would have been
into movies?
Less sexual, less awful. Okay, all right.
Well, I mean, getting inside of a woman consensually is a different getting into than getting into a cookie jar as a child.
I would
it's
hope
like a completely different feeling.
I would hope so. I would hope it's a completely different feeling, unless you are.
I'm talking about experiencing it as a child versus experiencing it as an adult.
Mm-hmm. I gotta say though, getting cookies out of a cookie jar, it's pretty great.
I'm just now realizing that it's pretty much a euphemism for the same exact thing we were just talking about.
Who knows what we're talking about? Oh, I do. It's Dark Forest.
Dark Forest.
Dark Forest. Not the theme song. Let's see. What year was Dark Forest? I think it's 2015
is what IMDb says.
2015,
Amazon
2016, I'm going to say.
Else. I don't remember.
This was made by Roger Boyer. I believe his first big-time film. His previous ones look like they were shorts. He's doing some short films and stuff. He does have a new movie that he has announced, Frackin' Zombies, I want to see. I want to see this movie.
I do want to see Frackin' Zombies, yeah.
Based off of the film we're about to talk about, I'd like to see it. They're all Canadian, I believe, right? The whole cast.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's Ontario or where, but it's all Canadian cast and crew. And Dan,
yes.
What was your impressions of this movie?
So, okay, you can tell a lot of the time whenever people don't listen to us, because this Twitter page by Dark Forest, the Dark Forest Twitter page, said we would love at Old Boys Podcast to review Dark Forest film, and knowing us, if they knew us, I don't think they would have asked. But
that's okay. It's fine. I mean, they're doing their thing.
First impressions, I was surprised as hell. I was getting ready to have to really search for good review, like really, really, really redeem this film. But this film redeemed itself so quickly. Like, okay, it's low quality. It's just one of those weird cult films that it's so fun to watch and pick apart as you're watching it, and it's still somehow cohesive no matter how bad it seems to get. So I wouldn't necessarily call this film bad. I do kind of agree with the 5.2 on IMDb, but this is a movie I would probably return to because of how much I liked the insanity of it. Because it's fucking insane.
So for me, I like this movie.
Yes.
I watched it twice.
I did not have that pleasure. I was busy this week.
The second time I took extensive notes on it. And my first viewing, I thought it was hilarious. The dialogue was really fucking funny.
Fucking hilarious, yes.
It is. It's definitely not a Hollywood quality movie. It's very, very low budget. But I think they did a pretty good job with what they had, and they made it very campy and silly.
I think that's what the biggest quality is. Like, whenever I say bad, I'm not necessarily calling it bad. I'm just saying that there's this quality to it that you're just not expecting. And I think because they foregrounded the campy nature of it, that's what really made it sing.
Yes. And I've seen a lot of movies like this, you know what I mean? Like of
that
this quality.
Drop the fucking ball.
That are so much, like way, way worse.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where it's just unbearably terrible to watch. This film is very watchable. And on my second viewing, I actually started to like the acting a lot more, which is weird.
See, I like the acting as it went. I'm like, okay, I'll take it.
Because the acting was good because I enjoyed the dialogue. There's a very bizarre duality in this film where I like the writing a lot, but then I also think the writing is terrible.
Yes.
And that goes back and forth, like from scene to scene. It'll be like, that was an amazing scene. And we'll cut to something else, and I'm like, oh, that's terrible. But then it would make me laugh. So it's like I'm still enjoying what's going on. Same thing with the music. Some of the music in this movie was awesome.
Okay. One of my first notes, or like I consistently return to the music. The music stings in this film are weird. Like they're just let's just rap our way into the forest and then never go back to a hip hop soundtrack again.
So yeah, like some of the music in this film is so well placed and so well done, and then some of the music is the worst I've heard in a film.
One of the songs is made by the evil guy, like the villain of this movie. The rap song at the end, that's his song.
That's so good. Evil Peter.
Yes, Evil Peter.
Evil Peter is evil. This is the main takeaway I want you guys to get from this movie. Is that
Evil Peter is evil.
And he will do whatever it takes to let you know that.
Do you want to just start it up?
Well, first, Dan, I'd like you to briefly explain the film.
Oh, that's right.
We will get into my fucking tome of literature I've written about this movie and what is going on. I've put a lot of work into it. Okay.
So this group of gals, you have what? Two of them are sisters. One of them is not related, but she has a camera. And then there's a fourth one that doesn't live with these other women. And they're all going to go on a camping trip, and they've invited the fourth one who is dating Evil Peter. I think her name was like Allison or something. Anyway, so she's not allowed to go because Peter's fucking evil. I don't know if we established that already, but he's evil and he will not let her go.
Yes, that's Emily, I believe.
The basic premise, Emily, that's who it is. Emily, the basic premise is she leaves Peter to go on this camping trip. Yes. And Peter gets fucking pissed.
Against Peter's wishes?
He gets pissed, and he and his fucking cronies go out and get this, guys. Instead of going to retrieve Emily, they're going to go murder her. Or at least Peter's going to go murder everybody who took...
He's going to prank the fuck out of everybody in that.
Yes, he's going to prank the fuck out of them. But this film is strange because there is a second party of teenagers that are just camping in the woods for no reason.
Yep.
That we just kind of have to care
baby.
About. And at first, I thought that the two guys there were the same guys that were hanging out with Peter at the beginning. But they aren't. They're all different characters. So,
oh, yeah.
Basically, you have two different parties in the woods and one homicidal maniac trying to find his girlfriend.
And the third mystery party in the car that gets killed later on that we'll get into. I
forgot all about them.
Which is even more random, but it's all there to serve the murder, my friends.
All there to serve that body count.
Yep. All hail the body count. And it's the female empowerment against the evil oppressor.
So
and they beat him up.
If we haven't sold it yet, definitely watch this film. We should support Roger Boyer and especially anything new that comes out in the next couple of years.
Yeah.
He deserves the love, and we're going to break down and analyze the hell out of his film. It may seem like we're giving it an unfair shake, but just know that we watched this film with love. We cannot go as deep as we're going in without having some form of appreciation for this film.
As hard or as deep. And I just tend to judge this differently. You know, like this isn't a fucking big Hollywood movie where they've put millions of dollars into it. So you think, like, I'm going to expect a certain amount of quality out of that. You know, like, I'm not saying, like, low-budget films get a pass, like I said, because I've seen a lot of really bad low-budget movies.
But you can tell that there was some amount of love and, like, withedness that went into this movie, because he makes fun of, you know, filmmaking in general, which, like...
Yeah, and the camera work is pretty good.
Yeah, camera work is
There's
excellent.
some interesting shots in this movie.
And it's very self-reflexive because it's about, like, that one girl with the camera. She's trying to make a documentary about the trip or whatever. So
and the most important thing is it's funny. Like, actually funny lines.
Oh, my
in this
God.
movie.
We are going to talk about the dialogue, but the dialogue is probably the shining star. And like Jared said, some of it's just ridiculous and, like, terrible in terms of, like, that was a bad line, but I'm going to laugh because it was so out of place. But then some of it is actually gold
legit
star
funny.
fucking...
Yeah.
I would put that
very,
in a comedy show.
It's very potty humor, you know, dick jokes and stuff, but that's what I like.
And every single one of those.
That's what I like,
see,
Daddy.
There's one in particular that I'm like, it's so bad, but he knew it was good. Like, it was so bad it was good, so he kept fucking saying it.
Yeah.
Like, he kept making that character say it over and over and over again. And I'm like, oh, yes.
What's great about watching this again is it's like I kind of knew where these beats were hitting, so I really paid attention to the dialogue and everything. I enjoyed it more, which is very bizarre. Anyways, all right, let's get into it. So we have group number 1, Alice, the hero of the film.
Alice is... Who?
That is the girl. She has kind of like blackish brown, like dark brown hair.
That's Alice. Yes.
She has an kind of like a deeper voice. She is best friends with Emily. She likes to have dreams about Emily a lot, which are bizarre.
Yes.
That we'll get into.
Hey guys, it's Dan just dropping in here right quick. We basically call Mitch Allison for the next, 5 to 10 minutes, and then we eventually correct ourselves. But I want to drop in right now, just let you know that we are not idiots. Or we are, whatever the case may be. Enjoy the rest of the show.
We have Francine. She is the blonde girl.
The one that's like super Valley-ish and like really ditzy.
Valley.
I like to call her, she's okay, so.
She likes to flip people off.
Okay, so Alice, her defining character trait is just being alpha woman. She's alpha woman. She's the leader of the pack.
I never saw her as that.
Really?
Yeah, because Francine is she's just kind of like hanging out.
No, I'm talking about Alice.
Oh, Alice.
Alice is
yeah,
alpha woman.
yeah. She's like the den mother.
Francine is middle finger girl.
Yeah, she's middle finger girl. Yeah, I was gonna say, like, that's what she does. Yeah. So then there's a third girl,
camera
third
girl,
blonde, camera girl,
cam girl,
and she does not have a name. I can't figure it out.
Cam girl.
If you go to IMDb and you're looking at the actresses and actors, some of them don't have pictures, and I don't think they ever fucking say her name in the film because like I said, I watched it again, listening for all the characters' names, couldn't find it. Sorry. So I think she's a pretty good actress too. Out of all of them, I thought she did a great job. But
I thought Middle Finger Girl really hit her mark at where she was playing a character, and she played that character really well.
She did good too. Yeah, I think a lot of people did good in this movie. But yeah, I thought Camera Girl did especially well. But I don't know her character name. She's just gonna be Camera Girl. Sorry. So now we have group 2, which is. So like the first group is the camping girls. They're going to go camping. Group 2, this is a little confusing, are people who are already camping.
Yes.
I think maybe there's one scene of setup for them, and we're going to call them the couple group.
Yes.
Because there's Henry, who's the what I'd like to call the dick jock.
Yes, the dick jock.
Where his jock is a dick, and his dick is a jock.
Okay.
And he communicates through dick. So, like, that's how he explains his feelings emotionally to the audience and to the other characters is through his dick.
Go on.
And this will become more clear as we progress.
Yes. If it's what you need, I got some right here. Right, Sally?
Please.
His girlfriend, question mark, is Sally, the Valley girl, on her cell phone. That's the best way I can describe her. She's got like the long dark hair. She's just like, I like cell phones. They're like, okay, you be over there.
And they're like, yeah, well, okay, so every time that What's-His-Face makes a dick joke, she just scoffs at him. And they leave room to do this quite a few times.
Yeah, she's like, you're a dick joke. He's like,
Sally has her friend with her who has just gotten
Kim.
over a breakup.
That is Kim, and she's basically the sweet blonde who's going to die.
Yes.
That is her defining trait.
Yes.
But you know what? What's crazy is like, oh, and so Frankie also is there, who is the sometimes nerd and sometimes really cool. And it fluctuates back and forth depending on what the script says he needs to be right now.
Well,
and what's bizarre is I liked a lot of these characters, like the dynamics between these different groups.
Oh, yeah.
Because I think what the weirdest thing about it is like, so like the Henry, Frankie, Sally, Kim kind of thing. It almost feels like they don't like each other.
I got
like
that
they
too.
really give each other shit all the time.
But we're just like, out in the woods because we said we were going to hang out, but we really don't feel like being out here right now.
Yeah, and it's like the girls really don't want to be there, and the guys don't really want to be there, but they're just trying to hook up, I guess. And it's so funny, like these lengths they're going just to bone, and I don't know. And then somehow their dynamic works of like when they're telling the ghost stories and when they're hanging out together, it almost becomes more believable because they're giving each other shit all the time. I don't know. It's bizarre. I enjoyed it. Same thing with the first group. Group 3, we have Emily. She is, I can't really say the protagonist. She's more of like, she is the catalyst to get Peter, who is evil.
New listeners of the show,
murder.
Jared's not a moron. That was called malapropism, in which you intentionally say a word wrong on purpose for the sake of comedy.
What's funny is I say it wrong like that so much. I don't think I've ever said it right in like a long time because I like saying it like that. Yeah.
Antagonist.
Antagonist. But yeah, and then we have Roy is the only one that I wrote down out of that other group because I know he lives. He's the goon that lived.
The goon that lived and the goon that died. Yes.
And then there's the other one that died who doesn't really matter, but he's also there.
And fucking Peter.
Yes.
The antagonist, the psychopath.
The psychopath.
The psychopath.
The psychopath.
Yes. The psychopath.
I started a lady punch counter, Dan.
That's what I was going to say.
Dan, I started a lady punch counter.
So Peter, besides being evil, his character trait is he has a plus 50 to punching women in the face.
He only critical rolls on punching women in the face.
He does it so many times. I'm so glad you counted because I did not.
I think he punches each woman from group 1 in the face. That is not a joke. Every single one of them. And some women from group 2.
And the way he does it too, it's like, it's just almost nonchalant. He walks up to one of them. He's like, hi.
Yeah. So at the very end of the film, I won't spoil it too much until we get there properly, but the 2 blonde girls, he punches each one in the face, and I had thought that he had punched the same blonde girl in the face on my first viewing. Because I'm like, did one of these blonde girls just go missing? And she didn't leave the film, she just got knocked out. And then the other one showed up and she got knocked out.
Yep.
It's so stupid. Anyways, it's wonderful. I love it. Okay. The intro, the opening, made me smile. And that's a good sign. Very beginning of the movie. I liked the opening music. I liked the title card.
Mm-hmm.
I liked how overexposed the film was for this weird dream sequence thing, you know? And I was kind of like, I'm enjoying the vibe that this movie is giving me so far. This is a hopeful thing.
Yeah,
you know?
that first dream sequence was so bizarre.
Uh-huh.
It was like a Lynch film almost.
Yeah, and I liked it a lot. The confusing thing is why was Mitch or Michelle, I believe. Oh, I didn't write her down here. Anyways, yeah, that's her name. Why was she dreaming about Emily? It's like, what is going on? She does this twice. And I actually came up with a theory about this at the end of the film while I was taking notes about it. I was like, holy shit, it's all coming together. But it hinges on this. So Dan, which one is sister to the other? Because you said one was a sister. Was it Mitch and Francine or something?
Mitch and Francine are related.
Oh, okay. So then my theory still holds up. And that will be explained later on as well. So we have this weird dream sequence. We have she wakes up and then kind of like walks off. And there's that weird... they hold on to like this squeaky door.
Mm-hmm.
The door's just like... just kind of like, what is going on? So I'm already thrown off by everything. It's like this interesting opening, this weird dream sequence about a girl's dreaming about somebody else, and then the whole squeaky door thing, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And then we have this very abrupt cut of one character is making fun of a girl about having a sex dream into the jock guy driving up in a vehicle,
mm-hmm.
and he's like, ladies, ready for the weekend of your life? And they're all just like, ugh. They're all so upset that they're doing this. They're like, I'm only doing this because I'm in a movie. I don't want to hang out with you.
Oh, yes.
Fucking Henry. Yeah, Henry's the least jockey name, too. The character isn't really a jock. It's just that's his personality, I guess. That's what I'm assigning him.
Dude,
because I don't think it's ever established that he's a jock, but he fits that archetype well. So now we're with the couples, and the two guys are picking up the two girls.
Yes.
There is a long, awkward staring scene between Frankie and Kim, where Frankie is staring at Kim's legs. And this scene goes on for a very long time. And I'm like, what is going on? It'll cut to like her legs. Then it'll cut to his face. And it'll hold on for like 5 or 6 seconds.
Yes.
And just because it held on for so long, it made me laugh. Then we cut back to the girls again. And they're dicking around with this video camera. And at first I was like, oh, this video camera thing, like, it feels really cliche, and then we're going to see them, like, from the point of view of the video camera. And they make fun of this. Mm-hmm. I still can't decide if it was a good idea to have in the film. It does actually have a funny payoff towards the end with this video camera.
Really?
Yes. And I guess I'll say it now. So she spends all this time videotaping, right, before the trip of like, here's what's happening, la la la, we're gonna talk, blah blah blah. And then when they finally get on their camping trip, she pulls out the camera to film one of her friends, and the battery's dead.
Yeah. I didn't realize that was a funny payoff. I just thought that was fucking ridiculous. I was so upset by that. I just like, are you fucking serious? Like, the thing that we established as the sole reason that we're going out camping in the first place.
But that's the joke, dude.
I guess.
They over-filmed everything so much that when they finally got to the thing they're supposed to film...
That's... I see. I get it.
No,
it's not my cup of tea. That was not the funniest joke in the film. I'll say that much. Some
of the filming scenes were... I could have done without.
You're such a movie cliche, is one of the things that she says.
Yeah, we'll get into that kind of talk too, because there's a lot of self-deprecation, I guess, in this film of where they make fun of cliches or they make fun of what they're doing in the movie, and then they'll just straight up do a bunch of cliches, and even through dialogue they'll say different sayings or like things that you've heard a lot. To where, like, this is dialogue in the movie? I don't know.
Now, one thing that I do want to say is throughout the entire movie, the one thing that could have improved just tenfold in my book is just the lighting. Because there's so many scenes where, like, faces are just obscured by shadows, and it gets kind of annoying to watch. But outside of that, the film was super competently made. I will say, I will say that much.
I like the red lighting a lot.
Well, yeah, whenever it's like Peter colorful, but like in a typical like regular scene where it's supposed to be regularly lit, like there were just shadows on faces. I'm like, this doesn't make sense. Like, it's not film noir here. It's just...
I don't know why that wasn't so distracting for me. I thought it was funny in that house. They did all that red lighting to give, to change the mood, really. But like, who has those red lights in their house?
Evil people, duh.
I know, right? I don't know. I still liked it. So at 4 minutes and 56 seconds in, Dan, I basically lost my shit.
Is it the goon talk?
No, it is when they, the female leads proceed to film each other and explain exactly what the movie is and what's going to happen in the film. And I don't know why, because watching it a second time, I didn't laugh as hard, but it was the funniest shit I had ever seen. Because I'm just like, are you just straight up going to fucking say what this movie is? And they did. They're like, we're all going to go into the forest. And I'm like, oh my God, what the fuck is this? And I laughed so hard. And I think that helped me for the rest of the film because I was already laughing a lot. So like once you start laughing, you get into it.
Yeah.
So Dan.
Yes.
I'm going to do something called Dan Talk. All right.
What is Dan Talk? Dan Talk?
And basically, I'm going to throw it to you and ask you a series of Dan Talk film questions.
Okay.
Sometimes they're film related. Sometimes they're I just want to check in with my Danny friend.
Okay. Now you're asking me film related things because I've been on movie sets. I've been to film school.
Yes, you are a filmologist.
I'm a filmologist.
You studied in filmology.
Ask me to break things down, but also check in with me.
Yeah, and you're handsome and I love you. Okay. So, what makes cutting to another scene feel natural? The reason I bring this up is that whole weird transition, that very abrupt transition earlier on, where it was the two girls talking in the kitchen and then right to the jock pulling up.
Well, okay,
that made me laugh.
Two things. Sometimes editing can be like the whole idea of film in general is like you create meaning through editing.
Yes.
So whenever you said it made you laugh, whether it was intentional or not, the meaning that you took out of that scene was the fact that it was funny. Yeah. But there's a way, like, timing is everything whenever it comes to editing. But then also one of the things that I was taught in film school was in order to be a good editor, you have to understand how to write, how to tell a story. Mm-hmm. So if you do not have that down packed, normally your editing's kind of choppy. But I feel like the way you reacted to it, perhaps it was on purpose. I mean, I didn't act the way you did. I didn't laugh maniacally, but like I can see where there may have been like just this awkward. Maybe just the timing was off. I think
it was off. There's a lot of odd transitions, or sometimes they hold on to a scene for too long.
Yeah, so
sometimes
exactly.
it actually worked, and sometimes it didn't. But
timing is everything. Like, and sometimes you want your audience to linger uncomfortably, but in this film, I don't think that really worked.
And what's weird is in a good film, you just don't notice it. You're not even thinking about the transition of a scene
classical
Hollywood done wrong.
Classical Hollywood editing, just cutting in general, its whole goal is to be seamless. To be seamless to make it look like it's not there to begin with. Like it looks like you're looking into this magical square that a new universe exists. But anytime that editing sucks, it draws attention to itself. Or sometimes whenever editing is like really good, like Requiem for a Dream.
If it's too precise. You're
Requiem for a Dream like has over 2,000 cuts in it, but that's what the movie is, the fucking cutting.
Yeah.
Do we have like a closing theme for Dan Talk?
Oh, Dan Talk. Dan, we're going to be doing Dan Talk so much.
Okay, I see.
This is going to be a recurring thing.
Okay.
It may even happen right after I say this sentence.
Okay.
No, okay. So we have this weird dialogue, and there's a lot of stories like this where it's just like the characters are talking, and it doesn't have much to do with the plot at all. It might. I didn't really see it. And the girls are talking about this story about some other girl we don't know that she's like afraid of a bug, and the big joke was that this girl was supposed to be an entomologist.
Yeah,
and there's a scene where one of the blonde girls is like, her boyfriend's the king of the Beatles, and then the other girls are like, could you please stop interrupting? I'm trying to tell this story. So they're telling this dialogue, and then she interrupts, and then they stop the dialogue, the whole scene. They're like, could you please not? And it felt way more real, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'm like, is this good though? Because when you're watching a movie, so Dan talk. When you're trying to make a conversation believable, can you make it seem too normal or too like it's a real conversation? Because sometimes real conversations are boring as shit.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
like it's the whole thing of like whenever you are going to act differently whenever you have a camera in front of you.
Yeah.
You know? So it's just a matter of, you know, professionalism versus not professional, but then also direction of the actors too. Like that may have been completely scripted, like the way they were supposed to deliver it.
Yeah, I think it was. I think that was actually part of the script, because there's some movies where every single scene and every word of dialogue has meaning and it's important to the film and nothing is wasted. This is kind of a funny example, but in The Lion King, if you watch The Lion King, there's no wasted scene in that movie. I know that sounds kind of silly because it's a kid's movie, but go watch that movie again. Like it's almost perfect in that way of how it is constructed. And then you have other movies where it's like just kind of silly shit. I don't know, maybe like a Super Troopers or something, where there's just scenes that don't really service the plot, but they're kind of fun, or maybe they're just there. So I was wondering, like, that balance. What do you think? Like, what do you enjoy more, I guess? Do you like a movie that's more like well-constructed or loosey-goosey? I don't know.
I think I prefer more well-constructed things, but in terms
you also
of,
like mumblecore movies, though.
I do like mumblecore movies, but like that's left in the hands of people who like really appreciate the craft and really like the craft and really have been doing it for a long time. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Or I guess not. Puffy Chair was like just weird. It was like their first thing they ever did. But I'm thinking about things
that's
like
a good movie, though.
Like the Pee-wee movie, where there's that whole fucking scene where he takes the entire take to let out the air of that gigantic balloon.
Oh, and that was amazing.
The best fucking gag in the world, but it took forever and it didn't serve the plot at all.
Yeah. It's pretty great. Yeah, okay. That makes sense. Dan, I don't know if you know this right now, but we're dancing to the cool shiny car music.
Wait a minute.
Dan, there's cool shiny car music playing right up above us right now.
I know.
It's so hard to hear you.
I know. Wait a minute. We glossed over. We glossed over.
Nope. I'm looking at my cool shiny car. I got any time for you. Oh, what's that? I'm sorry. Did you say
I
something?
turned the music off.
Oh, okay.
Before we got in the shiny car, you forgot that really cool moment of time where
sure.
I said something hilarious and put my glasses on.
Oh. Pray tell.
Summer never really ends, except in winter.
Yeah! Oh, you mean the whole car scene where they're sitting in the car and no one's driving away?
Yes.
I loved this dialogue, but it was so silly that they were just in their car and no one's moving, like they're not driving.
It reminded me of CSI Miami at that one moment where she puts her glasses on. I'm like, what the fuck?
I get why they didn't drive, because it's easier to film a scene with everyone
also,
just in the car and it's
we
parked.
skipped over the goon scene that I've been trying to get to.
We have not skipped over, dude.
How? No, because
you.
it came before that scene.
No, I have mapped everything out in this movie.
Then where the fuck does the
I
apple pie
swear
movie
to God,
come
I've
in?
mapped everything out in this
No,
movie.
the goons, they're like, hey, you seen that apple pie movie? Because they're talking about the fucking, what's it called? American Pie?
Yeah.
Fucking it? God damn.
So we're going to have to skip ahead. I'm going to run through a little bit things pretty fast. So there's a cafe scene where they pretend that someone's house is a cafe, which I liked.
Yes.
Peter's evil, don't forget. Two girls dick around in the bathroom with their camera. I don't know why. Okay, two guys have a beer. They tell their toilet story, which is the most generic story you can tell. Like two misogynist men are trying to tell a story. Like, this is the story they would tell about, like, oh, I left the toilet seat up and my girlfriend fell in. And the other guy's like, bitches sometimes, you know, am I right? And it's like the filmmaker took the most generic way to tell you that these guys are bad guys. Like, they could have just came out on screen and be like, I like beer and beating on women. He'd be like, are you a bad guy? But yeah, I'm a bad guy. Are you a bad guy? He's like, yeah, man, we're both bad guys. It's like they could have just said,
oh my God.
Like, they were a step above them proclaiming what they were in the film.
God.
And I kind of liked that.
Yeah. I kind of liked it too.
And then, an actually legit funny joke. So that same scene, these two dudes, like one's like a punk guy, one's like just an asshole. I don't know. And the punk guy's more like Roy, and they're all kind of hanging out with Peter, but Peter just kind of broods and sits there in his red light and just pretends he just does evil stuff. He's evil, you know? So he's not really there. And one guy says to the other, he goes, you ever seen that apple pie movie? And it's like the oldest reference in history to American Pie. And there's a long, long pause of the guy, and it just holds on to him for so fucking long.
So good.
And then he goes, no. And I laughed so fucking hard. Like,
too.
that was...
I did too.
I loved it. Here's a little mini Dan talk. Not really film related, but do you feel like Canada gets pop culture late? Because there's so many weird like pop culture references in this that are super fucking old. Do you think it's done that on purpose because they want the film to feel old? Because like the film is grainy. It even has this weird quality of
it was
feeling
super,
older, which I like.
Super, it was digitally enhanced to be grainy.
Yeah, I like that.
I don't think they get it late. I think maybe it was done on purpose to make it feel.
I think
aged,
it was,
but it would make sense if it was, because it felt like it was all around the same time. You're right.
Yeah, I think it was. Dan talk.
Somebody says, "You gals be careful out there," and one of them's like, "What?"
Yeah, so bizarre, but it works. It fucking works, man. I think you're thinking of because. Once they
it was the convenience store guy.
Yeah, there's some random convenience store guy, and I think it's supposed to be an homage
just screams in his face.
Yes, it's supposed to be an homage to like the old convenience store guy who warns them of danger or whatever. Yeah. But he doesn't really warn them of anything. He's just like, "Y'all take care now, you hear?" And it's like, "What?"
You guys be careful out there.
What?
Yeah, I love that shit. They make fun of the filming thing. They say it's a movie cliche, followed by saying wakey wakey eggs and bakey, and then they say early bird gets the hen. Did they fuck the saying up on purpose?
I don't know, maybe.
And I'm like, wait, so if they did it on purpose, that's kind of funny, but if it's not, it's just confusing. Early bird gets the hen, Dan. I don't know. So much to go into.
You can't lead a cow to water, but you can drown it in a dish.
You can drown it in a dish. That is a great saying. So now we're back with the campers. Frankie gets made fun of for checking out the girls, which I loved.
Yes, but Frankie also... Frankie apparently... doesn't know his place, right?
I don't know what Frankie is.
I don't know what Frankie is either, because every single fucking time, he's requested to do something, he's like, "That's not my job," and he has that excuse for everything. So I'm like, "What the fuck is your job, man?
It's so
what
good.
are you doing?"
Henry keeps
lifts
being like,
no
"Dude, can you
fingers
light
to
the
help.
fire?" He's like, "That's not my job, man. It's your job." It's so fucking good. And then
he's like, if it's wood you need, I got some wood right here.
Oh, well, that's Henry. Henry is the guy where you want to get your dick jokes
from. And then
from.
right around this time, we also have a really weird music sting that's like Morrissey meets the Talking Heads.
Yeah.
Like the music sounds like Talking Heads, but the person singing sounds like Morrissey. I'm like, what the fuck?
The musical genres in this film are so all over the place. I mean, this could be a dad talk. But we kind of talked. Did we talk about music yet and how that affects the film?
No.
Okay, so this is a good time to talk about it because it's very prevalent in this movie. And it's the stronger and weaker points of the film because, like I said, some of this music is so great, but if they just cut out some of these other ones where the genre of music flips, because he puts club music, rap music, it gets like classical, and then it goes into like music horror stings. It's just too much. I don't know. What do you think?
That must be what the wow.
Yeah,
note I wrote down once.
It really goes all over the place, and it becomes distracting. It took me out of the film a few times. But it made me think about how important that really is, how music can really carry a scene. And even like, so there was a moment where the Valley Girl was sitting all by herself, which is really funny. And because she's like yelling into the woods at her friends to stop pranking her. But she has literally been sitting in the woods all day and all night, just yelling into the woods like, guys, stop pranking me. Like, how do you not figure out maybe you should leave and that something is wrong? Your friends aren't coming back. Because so good. And the music is so ominous that I was thinking, like, if the music wasn't here, would it just be some lady sitting in the woods? Like, this wouldn't be scary at all. So it's so dependent on the music that's happening.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it's interesting to me. So Frankie forgets to tell his mom that they are going camping, which I liked. And it kind of gives this air of like, oh, Frankie's a fucking nerd. He's going to tell his mom that when he's going camping. But then, like I said, again, later on, he gets really smooth with that other girl. Somehow. I don't know how he does it. He is an enigma to me. There is an amazing scene where Henry is talking to Frankie, and he's like, you should take care of Kim. And he goes like, you mean like take care of her? And he like does a gun motion. He goes, no, idiot. He's like with your dick. Like if your dick was a gun. Yes. Take care of her. And I was like, I love this dialogue.
That was some of the best for sure.
So, what do you think about Frankie? Henry told me he's single.
You should take care of Kim.
You take care of Kim?
No!
Wait, I hope you're not trying to set us up.
Like your dick's a gun. Take care of her with your dick.
Yeah, well, that's why we came on here, right?
Look, I'm really not interested. You know I just broke up with Billy.
Really?
Oh, not thinking about your mom now, fucker.
And then the shitty rap music plays when they all go walk traipsing off into the woods. And you're like, why is this happening? Get this fucking out of the movie.
That was earlier, but then at one point where we are right now, like they somehow equate masturbation to dusting. And they're like, I think it was the girls.
It goes back to the girls, and then they're like, when's the last time you dusted or something? And they're like, I'm sure you do a lot of dusting. It's just the girls razzing each other. And that was totally what would happen, though. So I liked it. I like when the girls were packing and they do the, hey, it's your lucky hammer. You know, it's like super obvious that this is, they're setting up for this to come later on in the movie to show up. And that's like a classic thing that happens in older horror movies. So I'm wondering, it must be an homage to like that kind of silly Chekhov's gun setting up for a film. I like that. And then Emily shows up, and there's a nice scene where Emily is like, she's sitting in her room
dusting.
Well, a woman doesn't dust and tell. That's what I've heard. And she's in this room, and without the intense music, it would just be a girl sitting in a room. But because of this music going on, and the lighting too, I kind of liked, and it's like so intense and ominous. You can really it's like her just swimming in her brain, like, I need to leave, I need to get out of here and get away from Peter, who is evil. Peter's evil. She escapes that house, and she's taking her suitcase or whatever, and she's going down the long dusty trail to like the lightning, you know? The fucking lightning goes off. I loved it. But she walks her ass all the way down to her friend's house somehow. Who knows how far that was. But now Emily is with all of her friends, and they're all going to go on a road trip. And they do the big road trip montage of like the song playing. It's like, having the time of our time. Time is the time that I have a time with you, because we're friends having a time. And they're driving and whatever. And then we cut to another scene of dialogue here. Let me see. So this is probably my favorite scene in the film. So my favorite scene in the film is sandwiched between two different montages.
I'm curious.
Only have one montage, honestly. Like, why have these so close together?
The slow-mo techno bikini montage.
No, well, that's 3. Okay, 3 then. There's a lot. Okay. I will describe this scene to you, Dan. It's my favorite scene. We're with the campers, right? The couple campers.
Okay.
Henry is using his chair as a dick. He proceeds to use his chair dick to chair fuck his girlfriend, Sally, to her annoyance and bewilderment. He proclaims that his chair dick is invincible and cannot be stopped.
To which I'm invincible.
Sally answers with a swift dick punch. After Henry has been perfectly serviced in the punching of dick, he immediately proclaims that he wants to know where the matches are. And that Henry should do this for him. Henry says it's not his job.
You mean Frankie?
Oh, Frankie, my bad. Frankie says it's not his job, and then it was his job. To which Henry asks his girlfriend, where are the matches? And then his girlfriend says, up your ass, Henry. To which Henry, being the smart and noble man that he is, proclaims, no, up your ass. After Henry has thoroughly smacked and retorted everyone in the campsite, he proclaims again his next decree. He would like to get some wood. But seeing that this is not his friend's job and that he cannot provide the wood.
Oh my god, I had to take my headphones out. I couldn't listen to you anymore.
Henry is at an impasse, for he cannot achieve the wood that he so greatly craves. And then, realizing that wood is also a euphemism for his dick, he proclaims to the group that if they need wood, they may take it from his dick.
Oh my god.
So then, what's his face?
Jesus.
Frankie goes to get firewood because Kim
Hold on a
kinda,
second.
sweet talks her. Yeah. It's the best scene in the movie, Dan.
Number one, that's your favorite scene. Because you put it like that.
Holy shit, it was so good. Every
it
moment
was
of it
good,
was
but I liked your delivery of it better. But I must say that your delivery of it, that can come from nowhere but a place of love. Like, we're not making fun of this film. We are loving this film to death, into the ground.
I legit liked all of that.
Into its shallow grave. Oh my god, that was
I legit liked all
best.
that.
Okay.
God damn it, that was so funny. But then
you want to know my
this
favorite scene in the film?
Yeah, sure. Let's go.
It's a stupid scene, but I love it so much. I don't even think it's as good as what you just did, but there's so much in this scene that's just it's incredible. So the car couple, I think, is my favorite scene.
Okay.
First of all, probably has my favorite line of dialogue, in which he says, your earlobes taste like chamomile.
Yes!
Because what the fuck?
Oh my god. And her response, do you remember?
I don't remember, no.
I have it written down later. I don't have it up immediately, but her response is so nonchalant, like, oh, that's nice. Like, she just, it's like weird that he said that.
But
she's
okay,
like,
so
okay.
They're trying to make out, and he can't. Then once she's basically like, oh, let's go back to my place or whatever. Here's my favorite fucking scene in the movie. He starts the car.
Yep.
It fails. Then he turns to her and gives her the goofiest fucking smile in the universe.
Yeah.
And that smile made me laugh so hard because
with the thumbs up?
Yeah, I was not expecting it. It was the stupidest thing he could do in that moment.
It was so silly. Also, Dan, since you brought this up, I'm going to send you a thumbnail.
Okay.
I want you to look at this. And Dan, please explain to me what the fuck is behind him when he's giving this thumbs up and smiling. Do you see it on the right? What is that? It looks like a movie prop or something.
It looks like a house.
Or like a really shitty looking... It's like someone drew a house with crayon.
Oh my God.
And there's like a weird window.
Yeah.
They're supposed to be in the woods. And I'm like, what the fuck is that? This has to be a still for the...
Yes, it is.
For the review, by the way.
You need to give me one more still, by the way. So find another still, too.
But, man, that was super weird. And that scene was fucking hilarious, by the way, which we will cover it with all its pomp and circumstance. We'll give it the attention it deserves. Don't you worry, my friend. Okay. So then we have an unnecessary montage of the girls walking through the woods, and they're playing another song, and they set up camp, and I'm just kind of like, we just had them doing the driving montage. Can't we just have them in the woods already? There's a few things of like early filmmaking where you think of, we don't need to see this. Like when the girls are putting all their shit into the vehicle, we don't need to see that movie. When the girls are walking slowly through the woods and getting to where their campsite is, like, just cut to the fucking camp. Like, we don't need to see when everyone gets in the car and starts it and whatever. Unless there's dialogue, unless there's, like, something going on, like they do. Stop it. I didn't need it. You're ruining the best scene in the movie by sandwiching it in between these two montages. I actually kind of thought the first montage was fine. It's just too much of that, and it just becomes, it feels like filler to me, and I'm just like, stop that. Stop it. We already did the Dan talk about the film music. So let's see. There's a talk about how Emily saved Mitch from drowning. It felt like it might have been a relevant thing to what happens later. A scene I really enjoyed is when Mitch talks about a date she went on with a film director. So they're all the girls are hanging out, they're camping, and there's a lot of these dialogue scenes where it's like, is this important? Is this, I don't know, but for some reason, like, this felt like it should be in the movie. I don't know, like, it felt like this is an interesting thing. I don't know if it's too relevant to what's going on, but it's very self-referential. She talks about her date with a film director. She's like, he works at Turbo. We went to coffee at Johnny's. And it's like, and then we went to the movies. And it's like, he was shy and weird. He's like, oh, he must be a movie director. And they're just like giving him shit. It was weird. And then they did a big toast to poor Bernie for striking out, because I guess she never saw that guy again. And I was like, why is this in the film? I didn't really get it. But then it clicked. It hit me. I'll talk about this now. I actually think that Mitch is maybe, this is only my theory, and if the directors or anybody's listening to this, please tell me if this is right. But I think Mitch is a lesbian, and that she is in love with Emily, I believe, the girl she has dreams with about. Because why is she dreaming about this character so much? And they seem to be really good friends. And then we have these weird scenes of like hinting at that, like, Mitch, doesn't really date men that often.
Right.
Or if at all. And then when she does, like, nothing happens, and she like, she's not very interested in guys. It doesn't really seem like. And then she seems so obsessed with, like, taking care of Emily, and she's worried about Emily, and she's there for her and everything else. And there's some weird connection there that I think goes beyond them just being good friends. And then it might not be reciprocated. Like, Emily just might be, I don't know, we're just really good friends. And Mitch just could feel like I'm super in love with her, but I can't tell her that. So I'm
that
just
makes a lot of sense.
Right? It does. It changes the whole movie for me.
It makes it almost like 2 points better for sure.
Yeah, it's fucking awesome. And when I thought this,
but then
like,
you want to go back
shit.
and I want to watch it now from the perspective
Thinking
of Mitch. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, and Mitch is like my favorite character in the movie. So
yeah,
it's like,
because
this
she's
is
the
really
one
good.
that, like, she is alpha male. She's Alpha Centauri, and she, like, punches the shit out of Evil Peter.
Yeah, she's the best. Oh, that scene is great. She fucking throws down. But
also,
yeah, I thought this fit really well.
That's a cool.
With what was
that's a
going
cool. That's a cool theory you got there. But
yes,
my theory's better.
Okay. Dan talk.
It was a stab at Bernie Sanders.
Fuck you, Bernie. That's what you get. You're a goddamn burnout. That's what I say. Goddamn libertarian or whatever he is. I don't know.
So, to make it nice Dan talk, some other things that I saw that were actually really good was there's a decent dolly zoom whenever Roy finds out that he can't fucking leave Peter, otherwise he's going to get murdered too. Mm-hmm. And then like it kind of zooms in and zooms out at the same, or it tracks in as it zooms out. It's like, oh, I can't fucking do those. I try so hard to do them, but they're so hard to do. They actually pulled it off pretty well.
Yeah.
Then the other thing, we're kind of like jumping the gun, getting into the death, but like we are running a little bit over it. Like I'll edit. I want to make sure that we get everything in here. But one thing that I do want to say is fantastic. Mm-hmm. Like I was so impressed by.
Yeah.
Was the fucking axe to the head scene.
Yes. Yeah.
That was incredibly well done in terms of special effects, but then it's punctuated by the most terrible vomit scene ever.
Oh man.
So there's that.
Yeah.
But well done with special effects and cinematography.
Yeah.
Very great.
Yeah. The special effects were fun. So we will have to skip some things. You're right. We are going a little long. I apologize for that. I got way too into going to like scene by scene of this film,
but it's
because I'm having
fun.
so much fun talking
it.
about this movie. Oh God, I feel like.
So let's just start talking about people dying.
Yes, we can do that.
Wait a minute. Can you explain to me why I wrote down this note?
Sure.
I feel like it might be funny.
Okay.
Please tell me he fucks the can of beer.
Oh, so there's a great scene where
Just know, everybody, that was my note, and Jared knew exactly what I was talking about.
Spoiler alert, he does, and he loves it. He does cut his dick, though.
Yes.
Which,
Sometimes
that's the risk you
do it.
take. Should have got Bud Light. Anywho. Bud Light, smooth on the dick. Bud Light. Brought to you by Bud Light. That hoppy taste, Dick's love. No, I can't do anymore.
Dick forward.
I gotta stop. Okay, so this is out of order, but let's do it. The couple, Frankie and Kim, they kind of go off on a walk together. They're like, we're gonna go on a walk, which is they're gonna go make out or whatever. And then Sally and Henry are going to go into the tent together. Mm-hmm. And then once those characters leave, you think that Henry's going to say, oh, it's just me and you, like me and you, Sally. But he's talking to his beer. And he's like, it's just me and you, beer. He's like, I love you, beer. And he starts talking about how much he loves his beer. He's staring at it longingly. If he would have just done like a Shakespeare thing with the can of beer and just talked about how much he loved it, I would have been all for that. But yeah, that was pretty great. So Kim and Frankie go off into the woods, and they have a really nice little scene because usually when you watch these, you see like these stupid kids and you hate them. You're like, I can't wait till these fucking kids die. I can't wait. And the filmmaker did a very good job with writing the dialogue in such a way that I actually kind of like these characters, even though they fucking hate each other and they're really shitty, to each other, I mean. And they have this little scene where Kim talks about how her previous boyfriend cheated on her, and it made me think of that song, It Wasn't Me, that rap song.
Shaggy,
It wasn't me. Yeah, because she kept saying, like, she caught him on the bathroom floor, like, butt naked, and I was like, are you just quoting lyrics from that song? I mean, it's cool if you are, but it's a weird reference. Anyways, I liked it. And then Frankie was like, well, hey, you'll find somebody, whatever. He's being sympathetic because he's trying to score. But it also almost seemed like he was pretty genuine, too. And then they kind of start making out, and then she kind of rejects it. She's like, no, it's too soon. We shouldn't do this. And I was like, wow, they really did that in this movie? Because in any other film, they would have just started fucking or something. Mm-hmm. And then I kind of really liked that, where she was like, no, I like you, but maybe later, because it's just way too soon for me. And I was like, that was a pretty neat scene. And then I think Frankie says something like, wow, I really choked up there, or something. I really like like choked it up. And then after that, they both get wrapped around that tree with a rope.
Right.
And the killer strangles both of them.
Well, yeah, so that's something I do want to bring up. Like, each time that somebody dies, it has to do with something they had said previously in the dialogue.
Yeah, it's like a silly pun. Which,
so there's another one.
The
the next one, he's like, well, you should have put a ring on it. And then there's a ring associated with the next
Yes. Well, after they both get choked out, Henry, person of the year, he goes off into the woods to go look for his... No, he doesn't go look for his friends. He would never go look for his friends.
He would not.
He went to go take a piss.
Yeah.
And he wakes up, he tells his girlfriend, I don't know where my friends are. Actually, I don't even think he brings it up. And he goes, I'm going to have my morning beer. And his girlfriend's like, could you get me one? And he's like, no. Sally's like, you're such a dick, Henry. And I'm like, he is a dick. He is. That's him. Henry is a walking dick. I love him. And he walks off in the woods to take a piss. After he had just been so rude to his girlfriend, he pulls out a ring and he's like practicing proposing to his girlfriend, which is hilarious. I love this weird character arc of him like wanting to propose. And he's like, will you marry me, Sally? Will you marry me? And then the killer is there and he goes, of course I would, sweetheart. And he's like, what? And then the fucking killer hits him with a hammer. So he basically proposes to the killer, which was pretty fucking great. I like that. Let's get back to the couples in the car. This is the first people to get killed.
Oh, the couples in the car, yeah.
Yes. So at this point, throughout the whole film, we'll just say the killer Peter, who is evil, is with his other friend, who he's basically in a hostage situation with, this guy Roy. And Roy is just like there for a lot of the film just because he's afraid of his friend because he killed his other friend. Like right in front of him, which was a pretty great scene. And he's like, fuck, man, my friend is crazy, but I can't get away from him because he might kill me. He's just super terrified of him.
Terrified.
And we have terrified. And we have that whole chamomile scene that Dan loves so much.
It's so good.
And this
it's
guy
like
is
the best thing to say to anybody.
Oh my god, it was so funny.
That's like, if I could get married again, that would be in my vows.
Yeah, it was so good. We have these two characters making out in their car, right?
Yes.
They love chamomile. We've established that. And the girl is like, hey, I heard a noise. Can you go check it out and scare it away? And he goes, no, I'm too tired. And it's like, they were just making out, and now this guy is tired from making out.
Bitch.
It's
so
implied,
much like,
yeah.
Okay,
it's implied that they had sex. I
it's
guess,
one thing that, like, okay, the girl does it, but for some reason, whenever the guy opens his mouth in the scene, I hate him. Like, he's even less likable than Henry to me.
But in like a fun way. It's bizarre how like goofy he is. Like when he goes out to scare the monster, he's like, "Get out of here, dude!" It's like, I'm trying to get laid over here. It was like a Rodney Dangerfield scare. And then he jump scares his girlfriend, which was what's great about it is that he's like, "Hey, I scared him away," and she hates it so much that the next few words of dialogue is her just berating him and making fun of him.
Yes.
She's like, you know, like doing like that talk people do, like meh 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 meh. Just like, I like how she's pissed that her boyfriend tried to jump scare her. And his motivation to go and do the scare was she's like, well, if you go and scare away whoever's out there, we can have sex again. He's like, round 2. He's like, yeah, we can go back to your place. And then I'm like, wait a minute, movie. If this guy has his own place, why aren't they there right now instead of in this fucking woods? This is so stupid. Ugh. So they can get killed?
Yeah, to increase that body count.
Yeah, body count, baby. And I'm like, why is Peter, who is evil, trying to kill these two kids in this car? I'm like, it didn't make sense. And I guess he steals the car. He kills them, right? But why does he need a car? He's already there.
See,
he's at the fucking campsite.
That's the big question of the day, Jared. Is like, I wrote that really big in my notes. I made the font super big so I would remember. It's like Peter could have accomplished his goal, but he needs to increase the body count.
Yeah, he could have done it so soon. On day 1, he waits for 2 days, Dan. He lets that Sally girl sit by herself for a whole day before killing her.
Hungry, by the way. She was hungry. Like, okay, so it cut...
Yelling into the woods about how hungry she was.
She's in broad daylight. in broad daylight, and then it cuts away and we forget about her. Then it cuts back to her in the middle of the night, still sitting in the same
spot. She hasn't moved. It's gotta be on purpose because it's the funniest shit I've ever seen.
Still
just the visual of this girl sitting there not knowing what to do. She's like, guys, I'm hungry. And then when she's playing on her phone trying to get reception and she walks into the tree, that's like one of the best jump scares ever.
Oh yeah.
She fucking walks into a tree. She's so scared. It's funny as shit. And then she does get punched in the face, obviously.
Yes.
That's
the one who goes, hi.
Yeah, punches her. And then axes to the face, which is pretty great.
Yes.
So now the film is starting to ratchet up because a lot of the other characters are dead. And we have just the main group of girls. So campers, side camper couples, they're all dead. People in the car, they're dead. We get a scene where it's almost like a hostage situation where Peter and Roy,
I like
the two
how
best
this
buds,
turned out.
Yes, they take the three girls hostage while Emily is kind of waking up out of her tent.
Mm-hmm.
And he basically, Peter starts telling a story about how like he accidentally spilled his dad's beer, and he does this a few times in the movie. And I like that they at least tried to explain a little bit about why Peter's so psycho. I almost wish they did more of it. Like if they really gave us just a little bit more of like, why is he so insane? But I mean, you don't have to have that in a film. But whatever. It's more for me, I guess. And about how his dad is like, yeah, if you don't have loyalty, then you're nothing or whatever. His like weird mentality. And he was beating up his son, and then his dog tries to stop the fight, and then he's like, this dog isn't loyal, so I have to kill it. So in Peter's mind, seeing as a young boy, it like fucked him up really hard.
Right.
So he thinks if his girlfriend isn't loyal, he'll fucking kill her friends and kill her. Then Roy kind of betrays him, which is pretty obvious that's going to happen. Roy dies. They all run into the woods, and they're all just kind of like wandering in the woods for a while, afraid. And then we get...
Is this the Star Wars scene?
Yeah, we get this big fight scene of... basically Peter punches two of the different girls in the face, knocks them out, and then we have Mitch versus Peter. The ultimate. The movie becomes a different film.
Yes.
They're like kung fu fighting each other.
It becomes Star Wars.
It's basically Star Wars.
Because in true Obi-Wan Kenobi fashion, it flashes back, a sonic flashback to where we hear the same line of dialogue. Hey, it's your lucky hammer.
Hey, it's your lucky hammer.
Use the Force.
Mitch picks it up and like smashes him in the face a million times. She gets her head slammed into a tree like
holy
3 times.
Shit. Yeah, if you thought Peter had plus 50 against punching women in the face, the level of fucking pluses to his ability to smash Mitch's face or head specifically into a stump is
but
astronomical.
She's got a high AC, man. She's got a high AC, and it didn't hurt her.
But it's like, just imagine it's like, it's like, it's not even a gimmicky boss fight. She literally has too much health points or hit points, and he just has to keep going, and she doesn't fight back.
Yeah,
she just gets smashed.
One thing I was a little disappointed in is when the guy throws the knife and she deflects it. I don't know why, but when I saw it in the trailer, I thought she just smacks it away with her hand.
But
I think she kind of uses her forearm.
No, it's her hammer.
Which made a hammer. Okay, it was a hammer. And I don't know. It wasn't as cool as I remembered in the trailer, but I was like, all right. But yeah, the fight scene, they do so much damage to each other. It was so silly. And then when she finally beats him up, she gets up and does that classic, like, Miami Connection, I'm going to slow-mo walk away while the villain gets up, and then I got to finish him off. It's like in every 80s action movie you've ever seen. It was, oh, gosh. It's like, it's going to happen. It's so silly.
Yeah.
And
but I love it whenever it happens.
Yeah, I do, too. And
it's in Hot Fuzz, too, I think.
Yeah. Oh, of course. Well, that was an homage to all action films, so of course it's got to be in that. But then Emily shows up. And she is in a psychotic rage, and just there's this whole scene earlier where Peter was like, "You're my rock, Emily." He says this, a few times, and then Peter's like, "What are you doing, Em?" And Emily's like, I'm just returning that rock. And then she smashes him in the head with that fucking rock a few times.
Yes.
And then you're like, okay, they did it. They defeated the bad guy. Now they can go home and everyone's safe and they're best friends and nothing is wrong. No, because Emily hasn't got in her stabbing quota yet. She hasn't stabbed a bitch 1,000 times. She grabs a knife and proceeds to murder stab. Oh no, she hushes him first. She puts her finger to her lips. She's like, shh, like she's a psychopath. I was like, holy shit, what the fuck is happening? And then proceeds to stab him like 10 times.
Yes.
With her dead, evil eyes.
Yes.
And it was at this moment I'm like, Emily has become the villain. Like, yes. She is the evil.
And then Mitch embraces her, and then it's very ambiguous as to like whether or not Emily's okay.
She does not seem okay because the last scene is her dead eyes and like this evil smile of like, I am now going to kill people in the sequel. I'm ready for Emily to be Dark Forest 2.
Yes.
Emily's Revenge. Where Peter is like in her head. He's like a voice in her head, you know, that tells her to do shit. Oh, that's what I want. Give it to me. Filmmakers, make it. Make this happen.
Roger Boyer. Please make Dark Forest 2.
Do it. So yeah, that's the end of the movie. Dan, what'd you think?
I enjoyed the hell out of it. I extra enjoyed you retelling some scenes.
Oh my god, I had so much fun. It's obvious I like this movie. It definitely has problems. Every movie does.
Every movie does have problems.
If you want a low budget horror movie,
this
and you just
is
want
the
to
one
like watch
to take.
something like that, and like get drunk with your friends and watch like a campy horror movie. It's fun to watch. I like
Top
it.
10 for sure.
Yeah. So there you go, guys. Shit. Are we assigning a film or are we
No,
doing the
Jer
anniversary?
Bear, next week marks our 3rd anniversary. So we're going to have a
OMG.
special show in which we look back on the 3 years that we've been together and just really reminisce about all the times.
Memories like the corners of my mind.
We reminisce about all the fun times we've had and all the movies that we reviewed that we think, were just shining moments.
Yeah, all the greatest hits.
So if you enjoyed us reviewing your thing, Dark Forest Films, please promote us, get people to listen to us. Word of mouth is our best friend. I'm going to keep telling people about your film, so you keep telling people about us.
And we love kisses in envelopes. If you could send us a kiss in an envelope.
You scratch my back, and I'll suck
XO
your
it.
dick.
What? Jesus Christ! Oldboys_podcast on Twitter. We are on Instagram. We are on Stitcher, Podbean, all Old Boys. If you search
SoundCloud,
Old Boys,
SoundCloud and Spotify.
You will find us. We're the red logo. We look great, feel great. Leave us a like, leave us a review, say hello to us, say, hey, you guys suck, or hey, you guys don't suck.
But I don't want to
beer.
listen to you.
Don't get us a beer. I don't care. I do care. I need a beer. I love you guys, and as always, Dan, you have the final word.
You know that really cool shiny skull mask that Roy was wearing the entire time? I have it. I wear it every day.
Oh, shit, man.